This morning I made a video about my phase issues. I found a phase correlation analyzer. Is that what you call it? The Voxengo. What was it called? Correlometer or correlometer. And according to it, I've got phase issues in the mix that I am currently working on, and presumably in mixes that I have recently been working on, and presumably also in mixes that I had thought finished. I'm going to have to go back and revisit, because I'm pretty sure that Ninko over there in France, Ninko told me, you got phase issues. You got phasing issues. It's because I use stereo wideners and spatializers. I don't pan. But I do use wideners. And so I found phasing issues. And to my surprise, Josh chimed in and said that, Josh, I think I'm paraphrasing, but you said that you don't have it all figured out either. Which, yeah, that surprised me. And well, it made me think, well, maybe I'm not as dumb as I think. Because Josh, I think you strike me as being very knowledgeable about mixing and mastering in particular. I've been meaning to ask you about tilt EQs, because I've heard you mention that a number of times. Anyway, phasing. So I had a eureka moment today. I thought this was going to be a big rabbit hole. But, look, I looked up, let me see if I can find it here. No, that's another thing. No, that's another thing. Correcting phasing issues in mixes. I asked the Brave browser AI, and it came up with all these different summing to mono, visual inspection, manual adjustment, mid-side IQ, phase correction plugins, stereo width adjustment, mixing in mono. Well, I guess the first thing I tried was I started listening to the mix in mono, and that helped. At least that made it very obvious to me that I could actually hear the phasing problems. So very good. But again, what do I do about it? There's a polarity reverse toggle button on every channel, on every track in Cakewalk. So I started toggling those on and off, but to very little effect. But then the third thing that I tried, and I can't even remember how or why I thought of it. It was just kind of a eureka moment. I found it, and I did this thing, and suddenly, according to the correlometer, I like correlometer. I'm just going to say correlometer. According to the Voxengo correlometer, my phasing issues were no longer an issue, at least no more of an issue than they were for the Smashing Pumpkins in Cherub Rock, and less of a phasing issue than I found in Steely Dan's FM. Okay, so to recap real quick, this is the video previous to this one. Mixer's log number 20, is it 23 or 24? Anyway, the last one before this. the one that says, I have phase issues in the title. First track is Rush, Tom Sawyer. Here is the correlameter. And let's see, volume all the way down because I don't want copyright strike. And I hit play. And you can see a big dip down there. Negative means phasing issue, according to what I've read about how to read this thing. Anything north of the line, you want everything north of the line. Anything that dips south of the line is a phase issue. So Tom Sawyer begins with a big old whopping phase issue. And in the case of Tom Sawyer, it's the synthesizer that's doing that. And then next up, oh, wait a minute. I should have had that soloed. It was all three of them together. All right. Still. Okay, there's Tom Sawyer. Big old phase issues in the beginning. Okay, now let me solo Cherub Rock. See, that was still mostly Tom Sawyer because Cherub Rock and FM both start out really pretty quiet. Whereas Tom Sawyer starts off with a big old synthesizer whoosh, right? Okay, so here's Cherub Rock. And Cherub Rock, out of the three, I would say Cherub Rock has the least issues with phasing. Okay, a little bit, there are some downward spikes in the mids here and there toward the beginning especially, but as the song goes along, these downward spikes become fewer and farther between. And for most of the middle part of the song, there are no downward spikes to speak of, just very, very fleeting ones, like you just see occasionally here. And in the case of FM by Steely Dan, hang on, solo that. There are these downward phase issue spikes. And in the case of Steely Dan's FM, those are all piano runs, just little trills on the piano, little riffs on the piano, riffs or licks or whatever on the piano. It's all, every time it happens in Steely Dan's FM, it's the piano. Now this was surprising because you would think that Steely Dan, being the legendary perfectionists that they were in the studio, that they would have just had no phasing issues whatsoever. Josh, you were surprised by this, as was I. Okay, so, you know, I looked at these in order to have a frame of reference when I take this tool, this meter, and I apply it to my own mix. You know, how bad are my issues, right? So, now, before I... so I had this eureka moment, and suddenly I'm doing just about as good as the Pumpkins on Cherub Rock. So, hooray, I've solved my phasing issues. But, yeah, I've learned not to be so sure. There's always something else, isn't there? This is why when I started this video, I had this Dunning-Kruger effect thing here open. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain overestimate their abilities. You see, I've been guilty of this, you know, numerous times throughout my 53 years in this life on this planet. And I make it a point that I don't want to fall prey to the Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't want to be justifiably accused of the Dunning-Kruger effect applying to me. Thank you very much. So I try to have some humility, and I try to be cautious, not too quick to claim victory in these matters. So this is my disclaimer. All right? And then here's this other thing that happened to me. Just before I got up to make this video, I was lying down, took a quick cat nap, and I was looking at my phone, and I get these, this was so good I had to send it to my email so I could pull it up on the computer here, and I get these quizzes from the channel Sage Audio. These are really, these quizzes are, most of the time I don't know the answer. I just have to give it a good educated guess, if even an educated guess. This one I happened to get right because it's green. I got the green check mark. I got it right, but not because I knew the answer. Okay, it was a guess. It was, well, I would call it an intuitive guess. Okay? When using the mid-side processing technique, I assume MS stands for mid-side processing technique, what happens if you apply 180-degree phase shift to only the mid-channel? And the answer is the left and right channels swap positions. And then this, whenever I encounter something like this, man, it just reminds me just how fucking dumb I am. Sorry for my French, but really, that's what I say to myself every time I encounter something like this, because I know that for a lot of people, this is like so simple. It's so obvious as to be, just it's ridiculously obvious to some people. But to me, it's just, I read something like this, I get cross-eyed, and I just, I feel like I belong in a home. Explanation: in mid-side processing, inverting the polarity of the mid-channel, and then we get an equation. Mid equals left plus right. Okay, well, I guess I can, so far so good. All right, so that means that the mid, when I've got them, like when I'm able to deal with the mid and the sides as two separate things, then that means that the mid is the sum of the two sides, left and right. Okay. While leaving the side channel unchanged. Now here is our next little equation. Side equals left minus right. And I'm cooked. My brain is cooked. What the fuck does that mean? Side equals left minus right? I thought the side consists of left and right. So, left minus right, what is left minus right? If left and right are more or less equal, like if they're mirror images of each other, then wouldn't left minus right be 0? Like 1 minus 1 is 0, and then side equals 0? This is how dumb I am. This is what a moron I am. I know that's not what it means, but I can't, for the life of me, fathom what this means. In MS processing, inverting the polarity of the mid-channel, mid equals left plus right, while leaving the side channel unchanged, side equals left minus right, effectively swaps the left and right channels. Well, then obviously they're not like exact mirror images of each other. Because if they were, then what difference would it make if they were swapped? But then again, when I'm dealing with mid-side processing, at least in the tool that I'm going to use for this video, there's no distinction. Well, no, actually, that's not true. See, I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. And so in this video, I'm going to throw out like my eureka moment and the thing that I found, but I still have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I shouldn't be swearing so much, but really, Like, I get so frustrated with my obtuseness, man. This is because, reading on, this is because when this math, math, it's the bane of my existence. This is because when you decode back to, I assume this means left divided by right, the slash mark is like divide. Are we doing arithmetic here? Is algebra? Left equals parentheses mid plus side divided by 2 becomes left equals negative mid plus side divided by 2 equals R. R equals mid minus side divided by 2 becomes R equals negative mid minus side divided by 2 equals L. This demonstrates that Lean Bear is a fucking moron. It's like, this just makes me feel hopeless. Because this is like is this something else I need to understand? Because now I've got this sneaking suspicion that if I don't figure out a way to understand this, then I don't really understand the problem. And all that I've found is like a neat little trick. Maybe it's just masking the issue. Did I just find a Band-Aid and it's really a deeper problem? Okay, so this is my disclaimer. All right. Thank you for your patience. I just felt the need to make it. Sorry for all the swearing. I don't know if that offends anyone, but whatever. There's only 2 genders again, so there. And freeing the J6 prisoners is not good enough. Every single one of the motherfuckers that put them in a cage, they all need to get buried under a fucking prison. Then I'll begin to feel a little bit better. Okay? This is a good start. Not a pretty good first day, but there's a long way to go. All right. Yeah, if you were alienated by that, then so be it. All right. Now, let's get back to phase issues, shall we? Okay. So, this here's the recap here. We've done that. So, now I go into my project, and it's called Ballad of a Hungry Ghost. And I'm going to, let me see. Was it this one? Yep. Okay. I'm going to, that's the magic bullet right there. You just saw it for just a brief flash. Okay. Don't go back and pause it. All right. I'm about to divulge here in just a minute. First, I want to show you what the corallometer looked like before. Okay? This is what it looked like before. It's ready to go. All right? It's just ready to go. Got a nice little preview of the phasing issues right here. Yeah? It's like a greyhound just bristling at the gate, just ready to go. All right? And here we go. So far as at the beginning, it's fine. Then, okay? So lots of like spikes, lot of them up in the trebles, mids and trebs, and then the occasional spike down here in all right, now I'm going to turn on the going to turn on, I'm going to kick it into mono using Airwindows Monitoring 2, which is a great tool. Okay, so there's peak energy, peaks, slew, subs, and there's our mono. Now, this is what I heard when I listened to it through my smartphone speakers. It's kind of that's what got me curious about this. I heard it through the cell phone. I heard that. I thought, I bet that's phasing issues. It just doesn't sound musical. It doesn't sound right. And by the way, monitoring too. There's also your sides. That's side. Vinyl setting. Something called Aurat. This is all explained here. Mono. I forget what this is. I forget what that is. This is how it's going to sound. This is a emulation of how it's going to sound through your cell phone. And then studio monitoring room emulation. Cans. Larger room. Larger room still. Okay, so anyway, back to mono. You can hear that, yes, indeed. You can hear there are issues, right? And you can see it here. All right, so. All right, now on to the Eureka moment. Well, okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave this one open. I'm just going to take it off the screen for a second, and I'm going to leave this here. And let me see. I'm going to open up Voxingo Span. Now, both of them by Voxingo. I got the name of that right? Make sure I got the name of that right. Voxingo. Yeah, Voxingo. Coralometer and Span. Both of them are free. Available in VST 3. Absolutely free. And well regarded from what I understand. Now, this Span is a spectrum analyzer. It also has a phase correlation meter down here in the corner. Just this one is a lot more bells and whistles and gives you a lot more detail, obviously, right? But you can see down here, you can see this one kind of like doing the same thing this one is doing. Right? Isn't that interesting? Okay, so here is the thing. So this is what is it called? Yeah, spectrum analyzer, and it just shows you, how much energy you got in all the different frequency bands, all across the spectrum, live and like in real time as it plays back. But you can also set it to show you mid versus side. Mid versus side. And how do you do that? You got to click this little button right here. And you select mid-side stereo. Mid-side stereo. You select that one. And then in underlay, you select side. Okay? And then you can see, here we go. remember recently watching a video on this plugin where the guy was saying, you want your mids, especially in the bass, you want your mids to be considerably lower than your sides. So, I mean, I got that backwards. You want your sides to be considerably lower than your mids. You can see that this, I don't know, salmon color is side, and the outline above is mid. Right? So I thought, well, side's probably too high. So, I wonder what'll happen if I do something about that. So, do something about it, I did. And this is what I did. I pulled up Airwindows EveryTrim. EveryTrim. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that on now. You see what happened here? Immediately, you see what happened here? Let me do it again. Off. Right? And it's got all the downward spikes, blah, blah, blah. I turn it on. I just got a notification in my phone, which is being used to, I'm not using that camera right now, but I will. Oh, what the hell? Hang on. I kind of forgot to. All right, now, I'm not going to do that this time. Going to, okay, and not that this serves any real purpose, but that's Studio Cam. I like the Studio Cam. Have it right there. All right. You see my beautiful guitars in the background. All right, so I might as well turn this on over here too. So you saw what happened. There's the magic bullet. There's the eureka moment right there. All right. I turn on Airwindows EveryTrim and bloof. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? All right. So, what is this thing? EveryTrim is left, right, mid, side, and master in one plugin. EveryTrim is like purest gain only, more so. It is very simply every basic stereo trim you can have in loudness terms anyhow. You get left, right, mid, side, and a master level control. It works on stereo tracks only, as mid, side is meaningless without stereo. Okay, so this is just a very pure, very transparent, artifact-free gain tool. And you can adjust the left and right channels independently. You get mid and you get side. And you get a master trim. Now, don't ask me why I did this the way I did. I don't have a good explanation. But I ended up with mids up to 1.0320 dB, sides down minus 3.1720 dB, and master minus. See, this was in an effort to get it just to get it back to minus 14 LUFS. All right. I know that probably master should be at 0 and these mid and side should be further adjusted accordingly, but whatever. Okay? It works for now. There's the proof right there. And that's it. So I'm just going to hit play again. Notice the Notice how it looks different on the spectrum analyzer. And watch the correlometer and listen to the mono. Mono sounds a lot better. We just bypass EveryTrim. Especially since the electric guitar kicked in. Now I'm going to engage EveryTrim again. That phasey swish is like actually in sync with the beat now. It sounds better overall, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring it from mono back into stereo again. And there you go. There. No downward spikes. I'm doing better than the Smashing Pumpkins, Cherub Rock. Okay, well there's one over there. Very brief right there. But it's basically and so you can see quite a bit more space between mid and side over here. And let's see what happens here. Just watch it for a minute, because just get through the first third of the song and get through the quiet part, relatively quiet part. Just see if this holds out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm calling it. According to the correlometer, this works. This works. And I mixed it down to MP3, best quality. And I listened to it through my different headphones and devices, and it sounds more clear, more balanced, more musical. It sounds better in every way. And I'm pretty objective, I think. I say that with confidence. Okay? But just to show you this is not a fluke, just to show you this is not a fluke, I'm going to I'm going back to this song Atone, which I uploaded the video to. And let's have a look at this. I should probably, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to close out of Ballad of a Hungry Ghost. No. Okay. So, here we are in Atone. And check this out. So same deal. I've got EveryTrim. Okay. I did this real quick. I just literally did this flip on the mid to the right and flip on the side to the left, and they just happened to end up both at positive 3.36 and negative 3.36. Literally, I only had like 2 minutes where I did this. Just check, just a spot check. I don't even know if this is still going to be okay on the Luft's meter, but look at this signal here on the correlometer, and look what happens when I bypass EveryTrim. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so this is gonna take further adjustment and tweaking, but just to show you, on, boom, and even better yet. I neglected to mention in all right, in Ballad of a Hungry Ghost, these buttons are polarity or phase polarity switches. And I did invert 2 tracks in Ballad of a Hungry Ghost because I thought that made it a little bit better. Okay, but none of them are inverted here. Okay. And so check out what happens though with Airwindows EveryTrim bypassed. All right. And I'm just going to hit play from the beginning. Check this out. And I had no idea. Check it out. Look at that. Oh my God. How horrible is that? At least according to the correlometer. Like, that's really messed up. I've got some playback glitch going on here. Maybe I should close this out too. Okay, but now I turn on EveryTrim and it's not totally sorted out, but it's a hell of a lot better. And because of my playback glitching issues, I'm not going to go any further into it, but you can see the difference that it makes. Okay, so this is my Band-Aid solution. All right, Josh, what do you think about it? DJ, it's the best that I know to do so far. I'm going to keep looking into this, but I also earlier, after making this adjustment, I listened to the first 3 minutes of this, and I thought it sounded a lot better all around. Okay, so that's it. That's my phase issue correction remedy thus far, for whatever the hell it's worth. Thank you for watching. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for commenting. I always do appreciate it. Much love from lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea. I'll be back with another video on Airwindows meter. Maybe that'll even be tonight. I haven't decided. Over and out.